President, there are a number of things that I would like to say, and I hope that you can hear me or somebody close to you can hear me. When you come on national television, there are a lot of hopes in you. People want to hear about certain issues that are close to them, and they can only hope that you can address one or two of them, the most important ones. And from the nature of man, we know that one of the most important things is food. And people are really fearful because most of Kenyans, 51%, live from hand to mouth. How will they eat under a curfew? How will they eat when they're staying home? Have you addressed that in your address? You have spoken about a stipend for needy families in, let's say in Nairobi, a weekly stipend. Will that work? How many people are you targeting? What is the distribution system? We want to know whether it will get to us or to the needy, or whether it will just disappear in some government program or only address a few of the people. Have you addressed that? We also want to know about rent. 90.6% of Nairobians, they rent their homes. Mombasa is the second largest city, and most of them, I think, they also rent their homes. Have you addressed that plight? Remember, there's the opportunity cost. If somebody can be able to save on rent just a bit, right, he can be able to buy food. So you can see why people would think, for those who worry most about food, right, their issue is food. For those who worry most about rent, it's that they want to use part of that rent to sustain themselves during this period. So they're not just asking for that out of the blue because they don't want to pay rent. They want just some income, right, to set aside to survive. Remember, 51% of Kenyans live from hand to mouth. Now you are in the position of power. Landlords are in a position of power at the local level. Power can talk to power. You can talk to them, right? They accept some bit of amount so that the people who cannot pay at least can give them something so that the landlords can also survive, and then the landlords won't kick them out. Right now we have been people being kicked out of 4,000 only, right? We have some, depending on where you rent, even 2,000, even 7,000, all the way to 20,000. People are trying to look for ways to survive during this period. They're trying to look for ways to stay at home. Are you helping them? And then we have Kenyans in China, right? Kenyans in China are facing a difficult situation because they also have problems of food, they also have problems of rent, but they are far away from home. And what we have, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it's only playing games with them. It's trying to divide them into Kenyans in China with the visas and Kenya in China without visas. We can't play the same game in other parts of the world. In the United States, we have 42,000 Kenyans who are there illegally, without visas, valid visas. If what was happening to them in China, to Kenyans in China, was happening to them there, it would be unacceptable. And even the government would take serious steps to ensure that the state that is doing that would cease doing that immediately. So I'm wondering where this issue of having visas and not having visas is arising. Because at the end of the day, they are Kenyans. And in some countries like the US, they would be considered humans. And you don't treat humans that way. But here we're a bit different. And we didn't hear you speak about those issues. We didn't hear you speak about face masks. One of them cost 140 bob. We have 8 million Kenyans who live below in abject poverty. That's around less than $100 a day, or even $85 a day. How do we expect them to spend 140? Even if the mask is 55 bob, how do we expect them to spend 55 when they only have now 30 bob to spend for the rest of the family for the day? Where are these masks that we keep hearing about? NYS is producing 55,000 masks. Kikotech in Kitui is producing 30,000 masks. Rivertex, we have they're producing their own kind of figures. Where are they on the ground? How long will people be buying this? How long will the mask last? Will I have to spend 55 today, even if it's that cheap, or even 40 bob, or even 20 bob, and then spend another 20 bob tomorrow? Or will I keep using disposable masks, which is unhealthy for me and my family? What about clothes masks? Why haven't you given guidelines to tailors, local tailors? Put it on your website, advertise it as much as you are advertising these programs on, advertise that. Let the local tailors on the ground know how they're supposed to stitch, what material they're supposed to use, and give them examples. Disseminate that information through the administrative system, through the political system, through the churches. Let them make the masks at the ground and let them be safe. Don't start threatening people for that you'll arrest them because they're selling clothes masks that you didn't outlaw in the first place. So you just waited for them to produce them, you waited for people to invest in buying them, and now they're trying to sell them on the streets. Now you'll arrest them. You need to be more sensitive to the plight of your people, and that's what I'm asking of you. Nothing more, nothing less. Again, when it comes to police brutality, there's Yasin Moyo. He was 13 years old. He died on his balcony. You didn't address that. At least you could have given us some information. This person has been arrested and action has been taken. So you see, I am in charge of the police. I'm taking control, and then I'm ensuring that they don't brutalize you. At the same time, I'm asking you to obey police orders. You see how that flows. We'd feel content that you are looking out for us. And then we'd also feel that, these are police, let us obey them. And even if they act excessively, we are assured that you will act on it. But then when you don't speak about that, then you are left wondering, right? Because at times we don't disobey the police because we want to disobey the police. The police are not angels. And sometimes they act very badly. And we look up to you to keep your men in check, so that they don't do to us what they did to Yasin Moyo and so many other Kenyans. We are already afraid of Corona. We don't want any extra fears. We want you to address our issues. We just want to eat and survive. We want to shelter while we are here. We don't want to be brutalized if we are forced to move out, or that is if you don't come to our aid, or if, by some circumstance, somebody needs to get to the hospital, and then as you're coming back from taking them to the hospital, you're beaten to death by the police. Whereas they could have taken you to hospital, ascertained your story, and whatever. If not, they would have arrested you and put you in self-quarantine and whatever. Again, the people who are in quarantine, what's happening to them? We didn't mention them. Guys are running away from quarantine like they did in Mandera. Those are 32 people. Guys are trying to move out of Kenyatta University by force. Guys had issues in Pride Inn. Address the issues of your people. They are your electorate. And you are their president. Speak to their issues. So that's all I have to say. I'm just a humble guy. I am not Robert Alai. I am not Boniface Mwangi. Just address the issues. I have no problem with the state or with the government. I feel for the people, and I also feel for myself because I'm part of the people. So that's what I had to say. Take care, guys.